Hello, scholars. We have the movie here for handout 1.08. I realize I've been a bit tardy in getting this movie to you, getting these handouts to you. I'd like to say it will all be worth it, that you'll have something priceless as a result, but I'm not exactly convinced of that. But meanwhile, you and me, let us both do as best as we can. So, tonicization and modulation. The increasing and modified use of tonicizations in late 18th century and 19th century music caused the sense of key very often to be destabilized. We'll notice in this music that tonicizations sometimes became longer. Now, not merely a secondary chord by the chord it tonicizes. We might have a number of chords that seem to be tonicized. Modulations, contrary-wise, became shorter. They're much less extensive than in works from the early classical era or even from the Baroque era. Modulations now are often not confirmed by a perfect authentic cadence. In fact, the key may change every few minutes. I myself think of regions as a kind of midpoint between tonicization and modulation. Stephen Leitz refers to regions as extended tonicizations, and I can certainly see his point. All the same, I think that the term region is a good one, that it's salvageable, and for this reason I continue to use it. All of this said, don't get me wrong, composers still use tonicization and modulations in the 19th century, just in a modified way. Key destabilization, it should be remembered, is very characteristic of transitions and developments. Obviously not just transitions and developments, but these are two places. Just think of your own experiences from class. Think about the pieces we've analyzed. Transitions and developments are two places where regions can often be found. So, tonal regions or extended tonicization. If a tonicization lasts for a few chords or more, it may be preferable to show it as a tonal region. In analyzing a passage of music, ask yourself, do the Roman numerals I'm coming up with really make sense? For instance, say you're in C major and you come across this passage, 3 to 6 to 3, to 5 of 3 to 1, to 5 of 3 to 3. I don't know about you. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. That's not communicating a whole lot. But notice, if we momentarily transpose the music to 3, to E minor, notice how things make more sense. And you can see this on my annotated handout. Then, what had been 3 can be analyzed in the region of E minor as a minor 1 chord. What had been back in C major, the minor 6, becomes now in the region of E minor, a minor 4 chord. Do you see that? We have another 3 in C major, which in E minor becomes 1. What had been a 5 of 3 back in C major makes sense, right? In E minor is simply a 5 chord. Most puzzling, I think, in my top example, where everything is given just in C major, is 5 of 3 resolving to 1. That makes no sense. But notice, when you analyze those two chords in the region of E minor, in the region of 3, you see a 5 to 6 deceptive resolution. Then the 5 of 3 becomes another 5, and the 3 chord at the end becomes another 1 chord. 1 to 4 to 1 to 5 to 6 to 5 to 6. Now this makes more Roman numerical sense to me. So here are a few rules of thumb. Just rules of thumb, not absolute truths, when it comes to analyzing music and regions. A region will consist of at least 3 chords, and one of those chords will be the dominant of the region. We will see that a region's key can be suggested by the appearance of its dominant. Tonic need not be present. Wow, how powerful is the dominant chord? I guess in this connection, realize I'm going a bit off topic, I'm reminded of the root of our word dominant. Dominus, Latin for lord or ruler. Yeah, there is some way in which the dominant is the boss of the key. Well, that said, back to the handout now, very often a region's tonic will appear as well. Tonal regions often support melodies that are sequential. So in analyzing the chords and regions, you'll sometimes wind up with the same chords, just on a different tonal center. As for how to analyze music in regions, this is what I use. Bear in mind that some analysts and some teachers differ. I mean, there's no standard way of doing this. But what I like to do is I like to put a brace beneath the chords that I consider in a certain region. Then, right below the brace, I like to place the Roman numeral of the region relative to the main key of the piece. So, if you look back at my example here that I gave in number 3, when we were in that region of E minor, notice that underneath the brace or bracket there, I put the Roman numeral 3. And then after, in parentheses, just to remind me, I put down E minor. But again, you'll find different ways of looking at this. I think I will leave you to read my sort of closing remarks on the annotated version of handout 1.08. But let me, right now, at the end of this movie, mention that I'm going to put up another movie, a supplemental movie, which is going to be keyed to the supplemental handouts to 1.08. One of those supplements, I've just included some musical examples, and you can see that I have blanks there. See? And I will walk you through these examples. You can stop the supplemental movie at any time and try your own hand, see how you're doing with that. But I'm also going to put up, I also have put up on Blackboard, corrected versions of these where you can see my analysis. So there's no assignment proper for this, but I will, again, in a supplemental movie, walk you through the supplemental music. So how about if I see about doing that now?